I'd like to take a moment and thank our sponsor. If you have a laser device for training and you want to take it to the next level, or if you're looking to get into using a laser device for training, check out the products at laserapp.com. LASRAPP.com. You can use code CSP2021 for 15% off the items you've selected. And thanks for checking them out. So now you're at SIG. Obviously, you're enjoying the gig. Your RV looks spectacular with SIG all over it, by the way.
Thank you.
You're welcome. I was like, that's pretty sweet.
Yeah, so I bought that RV. Silly story, but my wife, God bless her heart, she doesn't know how to pack, right? She can't pack. She doesn't know how. She's never been a strong suit. She might actually be listening to me on the other side of that door, but I don't care. She can't deny this. She can't pack. In fact, I'm texting her right now. Are you home? Question mark. I sure hope she's not. But anyway, we had a big Yukon Denali, right? We called it Big Red, an XL Yukon, huge truck, and we would take this thing from. We bought it in Oklahoma, so we drove it from Oklahoma to Virginia because my family's still in Danville area, and we brought it. We drove it from here to there all the time. Drove it everywhere, and she would pack this thing up like a sardine. I mean, I would be driving this huge truck, and there'd be so much crap around me, behind me, that I was claustrophobic. I'm thinking, if I crash this truck right now, I'll be killed by the things flying around in it. The impact won't kill me. And it just drove me so insane. I snapped one day like a dry twig, and I was like, that's it. I'm buying a motorhome, so you can't fill it up. I was wrong about that. She does fill it up, but you can't fill it up and give me claustrophobia, because if she fills it up now, it's like all the stuff are in these cabinets and everything are underneath. And my area is like this. It's like, looks like this chair. I'm just a lazy boy driving the RV. That's why I got it. And it turns out that we enjoy using it. We camp in it, and we actually do like it very much. But yeah, I got this old RV. I just got it for steel. They were cheap back in the a few years ago, and the stickers were coming off anyway because they just kind of falling apart. So I just told them off, and I told my boss, I was like, hey man, would you consider wrapping this? Because I wanted to go full wrap, all the way up, and they wouldn't do it, but they put stickers on it. It looks okay. I mean, it gets some attention. It depends on what state you're in, but usually you get honks, usually there are dudes in pickup trucks honking at you, which is fine. I only seen one BMW honk, but it's funny when you do, because at first you're thinking, oh crap, am I running them off the road? And I realized, oh, they like SIG. So
not too bad. Yeah, I can imagine some states it's probably not good to drive through with that on. Might get pulled over.
Well, I've never been pulled over yet. That's a good thing. But if you pulled me over, look, do you have guns in the car? Question is going to have to come up, and obviously no. I mean, of course I don't know. So no, I've been pretty lucky, and I mean, honestly, look, RVs are a pain in the butt. I never stopped one as a cop because I just didn't want to deal with what if the driver's suspended? You got to impound that damn thing, and you got a car you're towing behind. Oh, what a mess! So people usually leave you alone. There's just a lot of work. I see that now. I've just jinxed myself. Now I'm going to get like drug dogs. Because when all this crap was going on in the big cities, all this rioting and everything, I had to drive through New York City and all the big towns, So I had a pistol in my RV, like under the sofa. It was an AR pistol. Let's face it, it had a brace on it, which we all know what that means. But I had that in my RV, like right next to my seat, and I had another one under my couch. I was like, I'm not taking any chances. I'll get in trouble with the law if I have to, but I'm not going to get in a situation where I can't get out of. So,
yeah.
But,
yeah, we sketched there for a little bit.
The ex-cop thing to go on, so I'm okay there. I think.
See, Leo, now you're going to have to get your truck stickers on there.
Ooh, yeah.
Yeah, no, I don't put stickers that. Yeah, not on my vehicle.
I don't recommend
it. Like my luggage, I don't know how I make it through TSA because my luggage is covered in like SIG, Mossberg, freaking Mile High Shooter. Like there's yeah.
Well, I don't.
Not on my car.
Stickers. The only stickers I have are on my motorhome. So, and my motorhome is only ever at my house. And let's face it, there's not a lot of crime here in the seacoast of New Hampshire, and when I'm traveling. So, if someone's going to try to break in or do something based on a sticker, it's not going to go well.
Yeah, it won't. Yeah, exactly. But yeah, not on my vehicle. Those are all on my luggage.
I even have like this. This is a gun-free home stickers in front of my house. It's like bait.
It's like, I wish someone would try it.
I just wish. I appreciate that. Yeah, the RV was a lot of fun. It still is a lot of fun. I got to actually winterize that thing pretty soon. But took it to Fredericksburg. We're going to be. I was going to take it to Mid Atlantic again, but it looks like that match is the same weekend as the Single Stack Nationals. And I don't think Vicky is going to change the dates, which is frustrating. I mean, I get why she won't, but I really wanted to shoot that match. So I don't know. I'm going to be taking it somewhere. Hell, I might be taking it to Clinton, South Carolina. I don't know.
Where's Single Stack at? Is it in Colorado?
It's in Alabama.
Oh, Alabama. Okay.
Yeah, Single Stack and Cary Optics and the Steel Challenge, or World Speed Shooting Championship, are all in Talladega. And the Two Gun Nationals, which is PCC and a pistol, and the Production Limited Open PCC Nationals is going to be also. All of those are going to be in
Junction.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
So that'll be cool.
So now you're at SIG and you're the pistol. What was your title again?
Pistol Product Manager.
That's right. Pistol Product Manager. Now, did you lead the project on the, help me out here, Leo, the
365?
There we go.
Yes.
So I'm curious how you guys came up with the idea of building a pistol around a magazine.
Well, I mean, it honestly didn't start that way. When I came to work at SIG, I saw the very first rapid prototype mock-up of this gun, and I pulled the magazine out, and it was a single stack. So I was like, no, that's not going to happen. They're not doing another Me Too gun. And then the grip was fat enough to where I'll say, look, we can fit a double stack mag in this. So it kind of started as when I first got there, this was it. They were like, handing me, this is your first project. Now, obviously I was working on, turning around the 320 line and making the X series setup and all that. But the 365 just kind of started with let's do something no one else has ever done. I can't take full credit for it. Obviously, there's a lot of people involved, a lot of working parts, but that was my very first gig as product manager in 2016. So, looking at the dates, it took us 2 years to get it where I wanted it. And it's a huge success. In fact, the thing is, I knew that it was going to be out of the park grand slam home run. We knew it because no one was doing it. No one had made a gun that small that held that many rounds. And, and I was a shooter. I carried a Car P9. I carried a Glock 43. I carried a lot of very, very small, concealable, not terribly comfortable guns. I even carried a 938 when I got to work for SIG. I felt bad carrying a car and a Glock. So I carried a 938, and none of them really checked any of the boxes. I mean, they're concealable, but there was never that balance of concealability and capability out there. Sky came some kind of close. They had that Sky pistol. It's actually bigger than you think it is, but that was a pretty decent attempt at a very small gun with 10 round magazines, but the gun itself was not great. It was bad. But be that as it may, we had an opportunity to come up with a striker fired gun. The sideways striker trigger reset spring was really cool. That's what actually stood out to me as like one of the neatest things I'd seen, because it gave us that much more space to get the top of the trigger guard closer to the muzzle, which made the gun shorter. And so yeah, I couldn't have been happier with how it went. We expected it would be huge. It was. And now it's the new standard. Now everyone's doing a high capacity micro compact, and we knew that was going to happen, and we knew it would be about a year before someone broke the mold. And Springfield did that with their gun, and now they're all doing it. So now the real question is, what are we going to do next to set a new standard? So
exactly, that was the next thing I was going to say. Do you guys? I know you guys aren't going to be at SHOT Show.
That's correct.
So is there anything on the horizon? I know there's only so much you can say, but is there anything that would have been presented at SHOT Show?
Yes.
Next part 2 of that is it something you may have shot at Virginia State?
No. No.
Okay.
No. Not exactly what I shot at Virginia State, no. But I get I see what you're getting at. And yes, I am working on something that could be used in a different capacity in USPSA. So without going into a lot of details, hopefully I'll have it before next season. Well, I know I'll have it before next season. That's about all I can say there. But yes, we were actually going to we were thinking about introducing that gun. We pushed it out. We were going to introduce 3 new ones. And obviously the intent was to launch them correctly, in that I wanted to launch them around Thanksgiving, Christmas time, and then have the SHOT Show to actually let people get their hands on it, because you want to kind of have it in the market for a little bit, instead of just revealing at SHOT, because revealing at SHOT doesn't do anything, because there's no end users there. It's just gun store owners and distributors and dealers and Instagrammers and that kind of thing. So we don't like revealing and launching product at SHOT. I was hoping to launch them at the end of this year, and a couple of them I still am. And one of them, by the turn of the 2022, we'll see a couple of really cool guns coming out that I don't want to say they'll change the way. I don't think they'll create a new market, but they will definitely shake a couple up. So pretty excited about it.
Oh, okay. So nothing like the 365 groundbreaking, but still some things that kind of shake some things up.
Yeah, probably not like, you're not wrong. Yeah, not 365 was a big one. That was our biggest launch, and obviously it's our biggest highest, most selling gun we've ever made. I mean, it sold more guns than any SIG in history. So
Wow.
couldn't be.
I bought 2 of them. So
yeah, I mean that's the thing is we could have come out with it at a better time, because the time that gun was introduced, that year it was out, was the really hard year for the shooting industry. And everyone was in the red except us, because we had the 365 and people just couldn't get enough of them. So couldn't be happier with how that turned out. But my boss, my big boss, the CEO, he's a tough client. He's a very hard guy to please, and he is always thinking 2 to 5 years down the road. And he is not easily impressed. And if I come out with something awesome, he just says, "Very nice. What's next?" So I'm always working on something really cool. And I will say that by spring of next year, I am going to put something out in the market that will shake things up a lot. Maybe not
start saving money.
Maybe not for us, but yeah, you're going to want this one.
Yeah.
When you say not us, you mean competition shooters?
Yeah,
but
it's not
in general.
Yeah, for next mid next year, it's not going to be a competitive product, a competition pistol product per se, not for my line. Now, I'm not saying that we won't have something that's going to be extremely appealing by next year, but it's not going to be out of my line.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, let's go. Yeah, it's. I'm very excited about, because here's the thing. Look, the firearm industry has been great, right? Everything has been selling. Everything's selling at full price. It's like the car industry. People are still buying guns. Obviously, the market is starting to level out now, finally. But for a year and a half, we couldn't make guns fast enough, right? So,
like the ammo, yeah.
Right, we can't make guns fast enough. So why, at this time, it doesn't make a lot of sense for, especially for SIG, since we can't make enough guns. It doesn't make a lot of sense for me to have a lot of new product introductions in a year that we can't make what we're already making. Because if I'm buried under orders for this 365 and I come out with something that blows it away, then the people will just cancel those orders and try to go for these. And that happened with the Spectre. I mean, that was an intentional launch because I wanted to come out with something cool and custom and a high margin gun to kind of take advantage of that hungry market, and it worked. But as far as really cool, innovative stuff, this isn't the time to do it. Not for us. I think some companies are doing it to kind of prepare for their shot. I mean, Springfield came out with a really cool gun. That SA-35 looks awesome. I'm actually going to try to get one of those. I'm a big Browning high power guy. I love them. And so, yeah, I think there are companies out there who are going to have some cool, I wouldn't say innovative. It's not innovative for them, but it is a product that people will get excited about. But for us, it's just not the best time. Now, the end of the year, beginning of next year, I got a feeling that things are going to dump pretty quick. So I want to have some really cool new products for next year, and that's what I'm going to do.
So what do you do when you're in that time period where you guys are just making enough product of what you have to fulfill the demands of the customer? What does Phil Strader do at work for the future?
Well, I don't change anything. I didn't change I didn't change the way I do business. I didn't change the drive. I mean, I'm still pushing. For the last year, I've been pushing new product through pretty hard and fast. For me now, I'm in a very unique situation where I can keep pushing, and now I can rack and stack the products instead of having to push for a deadline and then not making it and getting beat up by my bosses. Hey, we should launch this 2 months ago. We're losing sales. Now I'm in a position where I can say, okay, I'm going to have these 4 new products ready to go, and then you guys can strategically, hopefully with my help, we can launch them at strategic times. So I'm not slowing down. I'm still doing the same job I'm doing. It's just my launch windows are changed. They're not based on a need anymore. They're based on a strategic market induced launch.
Yeah, I almost feel like it actually gave you more time to focus and concentrate on that.
Yeah,
and make it.
That's what I say. Puts you in a better position for sure.
One of the guns that I'm launching next year, I think it's going to be probably in the May timeframe. We'll see, April, May. I could have had that gun out now, or towards next month or the end of the year. But because of the market, because I was able to take a couple risks and make the product even better, I didn't. I changed a spec that I wanted to have. I knew it was going to be something that was going to be a lot of R&D for us and a lot of research and a lot of testing, but I didn't care because we had that window to do it. So I went from having a pretty cool product to something even nicer for a little bit later in the year because I can afford it now. I can afford to do that. So you're right.
I almost feel like, Phil, you should create another spreadsheet showing all of your deadlines and add these in, because these are going to make your deadline percentage go through the roof.
Yeah, that's true. That's a good
I mean, when it
point.
comes time for a raise, you can like, look, man, I'm like 110% on my deadline meeting.
A raise? What is that? I don't know what that is.
Yeah, we say the same thing. It's all good.
I was gonna say we definitely don't either.
Yeah.
Is that like an increase in salary? Is that what that is?
It's just something I read on the internet. I have no idea.
Yeah.
Commensurate with the amount of work hours you're actually putting in.
I
It's not really a
the
raise.
roof.
It's just you're getting paid for the work you're doing.
If I could have just renegotiated and say, hey, how about I get 0.5% on every new product that I launch per sale, on net, not even on gross, just net. That would have been a better deal, I think.
Yeah, but
And
you
then
know
he can
why
say,
they would have
I'm
said
rich,
no.
bitch, I'm out.
Exactly. That's what I was going to say. That's why. Because you would give you the chance to say, I'm rich, bitch. I don't have to work here.
Yeah.
See, you're
We're
too
thinking the same
valuable
thing.
for you to be that valuable.
No kidding.
Exactly.
They
Yeah.
have to keep you in.
I've learned a lot.
Let me
I've learned a
back
lot
in.
working at SIG, and you know what? There's only one guy who's safe, and that's Ron Cohen. Everyone else is expendable. Now, some people think I'm not, but I don't think that. So, if Ron Cohen, you're watching this, I don't think that.
I love my job.
I love my job. Please don't fire me.
I got to be honest. Pretty sure.
I have kids, man.
So who all's on the team SIG, or who all is on the SIG shooting team?
So it's Max is the team captain, and Lena and Daniel Horner.
Okay.
Oh,
So that's our official team. There we do help out some folks. We've been helping Christian Sailor out with optics. He uses SIG optics. So we do smaller amounts of sponsorship. I guess technically, you could theoretically say I'm sponsored, but not on Team SIG. I have more of a deal that I worked out with when I got hired. It was part of my, I wouldn't say employment contract, but I did work out, that
like
look,
an incentive package.
Yeah, this is part of my job. This is part of my life. I've been doing this for a long time. And one of the reasons they hired me was because of my presence in the industry. And this is part of that presence. So I think there's always going to be the side comments, oh, Phil's gone again kind of thing. But, and I hear that and I see it. But look, there's not going to be a lot of people out there who, I hate saying this. This is horrible to say, but there's not a lot of people out there who bring the same assets to the table that I bring, because, I can do the business part of it and I can still maintain a presence in our circles, our competitive shooting circles. And, and I'm a good bullshitter. So I do well on video. In fact, all those product videos you guys watch, that's all impromptu. I don't write any of that stuff down. That's all just.
See, now I'm just more impressed.
That's not that I do not write any of it down. In fact, I'm working on something I had to write down the latest script I was working on for something way bigger than a product video. But it's, I had to write that down, but I won't read it. I'll just kind of figure it out. But on the gun side, when I've got a gun in my hands, it's, I could pick up any firearm and tell you some cool things about it. Even if I don't know what I'm talking about, I can make it sound like I do. So that's also a gift. So,
That's what makes you invaluable.
It makes you invaluable when you can tell someone something and they think you know what you're talking about, even if you don't.
If you can sound like a subject matter expert, you're already winning.
Yeah.
People are too lazy to be like, let me see if he's right. They're gonna be like,
that's
amazing.
also,
he's handsome, he's got a great smile, and he sounds like he knows what he's talking about.
That's how you know when you're really good. You give them things that they can't fact check. Like, you got to be careful. You don't want it, because people on the interwebs will try to fact check you.
That's how they get you, man.
That's how they get you.
Yeah,
right.
But yeah, I mean, I do think that it does seem like there is some level of understanding that because you do participate in this segment of shooting, that is absolutely added value for you, because you understand with that market. And in addition, the other half, which is just somebody who carries a gun every day, like, It's really easy for you to translate that to the need in the market.
Yeah.
So they'd be crazy to be like, you can't shoot anymore.
Right. And I don't think they would ever say that. And the thing is, I'm not afraid to I embrace other companies' products. I love CZ. I love most of the guns they make. I actually own probably more Glocks than I have SIGs. Um, I love the Canic. I don't have one yet, but I have an opportunity to shoot a lot of guns. There you go. The Canic's got the best production trigger out there. I'm okay saying that, and that makes me want to figure out how they did it so I can improve my product. So I think that's what makes for a good product manager, someone who has a lot of all-encompassing product knowledge, because I'm not scared to go to Matt, for instance, Matt Hopkins. I'll go to his table and I'll pick a gun up and I'll tell him, like, that trigger's horrible, or wow, this thing's awesome, and and I'll go shoot it. Now, obviously, I can't shoot it with people taking pictures, but I'll shoot something just to see what it feels like and see if I like it or not. Because when I tell someone that the X5 shoots better than anything out there, it's because I've shot everything out there, and I truly believe that it still does. Now, obviously, an LTD-01 or a Shadow 2 or some of the heavier guns, even the Walther steel frame, although I really don't like the way that gun shoots. I've shot them, and they have different attributes. Like the CZ, man, that thing is flat, but it's very direct. So some people don't like a really direct recoil. Some people like a softer, flatter gun, and that's what the X5 brings. That brings the weight and the flex and all that, so it's softer and easier on you. Some people are big into triggers, so the Canic's a great option for them, and they don't care about having the heavy weight. But so when I have a gun, when I shoot something, when I talk about how something shoots, I want it to be based in relevance and based in experience. And like you said, if I'm out here shooting and getting my hands dirty, I mean, there's no telling how many 1911s I have. I think it's 27 now. And when we build a 1911, I'm going to be able to pick that gun up and shoot it and go, okay, this is a great 1911. In fact, my single stack that I'll be shooting for the rest of this year and into next year is SIG TAC Ops. So, it does give a lot of credibility to the position. And, I see a lot of product managers out there who they are in their little universe in their company, and they only see their products, and they are delusional enough to believe that their gun is better than everything else out there when it way isn't. And I know that there are better guns out there than some of the guns we make. I'm not stupid enough to say that everything we make is better than everyone else's, but that's what my job is. My job is to make the best product there is compared to everyone else's. And, I'm still trying to work to that goal. I still think we're the best polymer gun out there. I mean, the Canics are great for the money, but, Nils seems to shoot his pretty daggone good. Son of a gun beat me with a minor gun.
Yeah, and he wasn't. He was right on Mason's ass.
Yeah. I was so glad he didn't win. I mean, not for any personal reasons, but I was sitting there going, I was talking to him at the match, and I'm one of these guys that I talk so much crap. That's why me and Robbie get along so well. I was talking to Nils, and I'm sure he was stressed because he was in the running. I was like, listen, man, if you win this match with a minor Canic, I said, my boss is going to come to me and say, hey, this guy won nationals with a 9mm, so you need to put away that prototype and get you an X5 Legion and shoot that in limited. Because because no one gets it. They don't understand Nils is Nils. He's not like most people. So, I'm kind of glad he didn't win for that reason, because now we can still say, yeah, he shot limited minor. You're not supposed to do that unless they just go minor across the board, and then it'd be awesome. But for him, bad for all of us. But
so the 320 Max, that was while you've been at SIG, correct?
Yes.
So how much did you and Max work together to do that, or is that just a?
The 320 Max was actually a project that Tim Butler, he was a former product manager. He actually worked on that gun with Max.
Okay.
But I mean, that gun was very easy to make in that it wasn't easy, but it was not complicated because we knew the X5 was a working platform that didn't really require any design validation or engineering validation. So what we really needed to come up with was what Tim had to come up with, was a slide that stood out that Max liked. I'm pretty sure Max had a lot of input on the slide design. And it obviously had to have a direct mounted Romeo 3 Max or Romeo 3 XL, whichever one you prefer. And it was a purpose-built Cary Optics only pistol. I think the only mistake that was made on that gun was the forecast that we put for it. We didn't expect we'd sell 9,000 in 3 days, but I'm not saying that's how many we sold, but it was a lot.
A lot.
Yeah, it was more than we could make. It was more than we could get Romeo 3 Max optics. So, and that slide is very complicated, as you know. So it's not exactly what you call a time saver on the machines. So, it was a super popular gun. I think it also showed us that there could very well be a progression of, optic equipped guns, and that's all they have. As optic technology keeps getting better and better and better, it's becoming less and less practical from a target shooter standpoint, from someone who just likes to go to the range and shoot. It's getting less practical for them to shoot an iron-sighted gun. It's no different than you play a video game or whatever, and you get a gun that has a really cool sighting device or one that doesn't. It's more fun to shoot the pistol or the firearm with the cool sighting device. If I gave you an AR-15 with iron sights or an AR with a fully variable optic or a red dot, pretty clear which one you're going to shoot. So, I mean, I remember the days when rifles always had to have an eight post front sight on it and a rear backup, and red dots were kind of the thing that just you kind of put on if you wanted to afterwards. And now they don't sell rifles with sights anymore. So,
yeah,
I think when we started
flat tops.
Yeah. So when we started doing the Max, I think that kind of was a wake-up call for a lot of us, that the red dot, what we call it, the red dot revolution is what we're calling it, is a real thing. And I think people are starting to pick up on it. In fact, I mean, there's so many different optics now to choose from. We're seeing a lot of interest in either optic ready or optic equipped pistols. And for Max, he was super excited to see what the numbers were because his name's on the gun. So, that royalty check is going to probably be pretty good for him as well.
Got another rich bitch coming to town.
Rich bitch. Yeah. So yeah, I couldn't be happier with how it went, and I'm sure Max is super stoked about it. And we saw a lot of 320 Maxes at the Cary Optics Nationals too. So I mean, my gun is actually a version of what we made for Max before the 320 Max pistol was a gun. It was basically just an X5 with a direct mounted Romeo 3 footprint on it with no front sight. It was just a precursor to the Max slide. So eventually I'll probably will end up shooting the Max slide as well. Although my gun kind of is a Max slide. It's just not as fancy. And I run an XL. I don't run the big circle.
Oh, okay.
SRO or yeah.
Yeah, I've always been a widescreen guy. I don't know why. I mean, I think they're both fine.
Yeah, it seems like dot size and window size are a lot of that's just personal preference.
Yeah, I actually shot my first Cary Optics Nationals, which, by the way, was
spreadsheet up.
Sheet
was in 2017. I shot a 3 MOA dot. And it's not because I wanted to, it's just because of what I had. And man, I was so excited that I did that because there were so many hard shots, and that 3 MOA dot really came in handy that year. And then after that, I went to a 6. But yeah.
So what did you shoot at Cary Optics Nationals this year?
This year, I shot basically an X5 Legion lower and an X5. It looked like an X5 Legion upper, but it was a slide without a front dovetail cut, and I had a Romeo 3 XL directly mounted to the slide, and I ran a Go Guns gas pedal on it.
Okay.
Yeah, I've gone back and forth between the gas pedal, and I shoot just as well with or without it. I think, let's see. In fact, in 2018, I finished 3rd at Cary Optics without one. And this year I finished 7th. Although the competition was really good in 7th. But I like when I don't have it on there and I run a regular thumb, takedown lever. If I'm shooting really fast, sometimes I can feel it turning, like in my thumb. I don't like that, so I put it on there because my thumb sits in the same spot. But I can't feel the thing turn, so it works out pretty well. And my holster seems to work with it, so I just let it go. Okay. It's fun. And if you're left-handed, it doesn't do any good. I'll tell you that. Yeah, I shot that, and I shot with the limited. I shot the same gun I shot at the Virginia State. Not the same ammo, I'm happy to say.
Yeah.
But so I had ammo that ran pretty much.
I was going to, because I walked over to you when you were trying to load your mags on the very first stage. I think you were talking to Todd Sindelar right there. And there was an issue with the ammo. Was that ammo that someone you got from somebody? Or
yeah.
Was that ammo you?
Yeah. Okay. Matt Nash had a bunch of 40 cal ammo and just in a bucket, molly coated stuff he didn't want. And so I was like, sure, I've got a limited gun. I'll try it. And some of the ammo was loaded long, and it was loaded a little too long, and it was getting hung up in the magazines and dragging on the mags. So needless to say, it didn't do well. And the ammo was badly bulged. So not only did I have some fail to feeds, I think I had 7 fail to feeds on one stage, a big one too. Ugh.
Wow.
You just had the same loader Huggy had.
Man, I tell you, it was bad. and I was shooting okay up to that point. And then the next stage, I had a bulge case that I could not get out. I mean, it took forever to get this thing cleared out of the gun. I was, banging it out of there. And so at that point, I was like, okay, I'm done. I went back up and got some different ammo, and it worked from most point. But, the funny thing is I had the ammo that I shot last year at Limited Nationals, which I finished 13th then. Ooh. But be that as it may, I had the same ammo and the gun was running fine. First stage of the match, I'm shooting and I'm done with the stage, and I look down and my roll pin that holds in the leaf, the adjustable rear sight piece, is starting to back out to the right. I'm like, okay, that's not good. So after every stage, I go to the safe area, I hammer this thing back in. And so I had to do that every 25, 30 rounds or so, basically after every stage. And while I was over there, I'm having feed issues sometimes with this gun. So I'm there. They got all these, what do you call those things? Bore snakes.
Yes.
I run the bore snake through, clean off the feed ramp at the same time, and the gun ran perfectly, 100%. I just had to remember to knock the sight back in, because if that sight comes all the way out, then your blade's going to be like this, right? Last stage of the match. I was having a pretty good last day. Nothing stupid. Averaging around 4th, 5th overall on every stage. But not good enough to win, but good enough to climb up maybe a spot. Because I finished 7th in production this year, 7th at Cary Optics, and I'll be damned if I was going to finish 7th at Limited. So I had to push on the last stage. I didn't want to have that over my head. 7s across the board. I've never done that. Nope, never done that. So checking the spreadsheet.
I love that quick reference.
Yeah. So anyway, I get to the stage, and I hadn't knocked the stuff in. I hadn't done my work, and it was hanging out. I just shot a 25-round stage. And I told Travis Tomasi, my friend Travis, I said, hey, man, don't let me forget to remind me to knock this thing back together when I go to before I shoot. He forgot. I forgot. I walk up, and the stage you were actually shooting poppers over this, it was a stage with 6 poppers lined up in a row, and you basically finished on 2 relatively close targets and then 2 20-plus yard targets at the back. And I was aiming through the fence, just kind of aiming through the fence at the poppers. I wasn't looking at the sight. And I load up, and as soon as I shoot the poppers, and I've blazed them, just went full Phil Strader on the poppers. That means way too fast. I ran over to the left side. I started shooting, and all of a sudden, I start seeing this pin coming out of the sight, like coming out. And then all of a sudden I realized, oh crap, I forgot to hammer it in, and I forgot to clean off the feed ramp. And sure enough, I get to the final right side, the pin's all the way come out, basically the sight's leaning like this, and the gun malfunctions badly. So I got to the end, my sight screwed up. I had a miss at the end because the shots were like, over to the freaking right, high right. So I had high right Charlies and misses, and the gun malfunctioned badly, like twice. So I went from having a 19-second run would have put me in 6th place to a 26-second run that dropped me down to 9th. So I was very unhappy with the way that gun treated me, but it's kind of my fault. But be that as it may, I should have gotten it. I didn't even think about bringing it. But about 2 days before I left for the Nationals, Bruce Gray at Gray Guns sent me a really cool pistol. And Mason already kind of put it on the internets, on Instagram or something. But it's basically a 320 with all his components and everything in it, his custom-made slide, but it takes STI magazines. So it shoots long 40, and I thought at the time it would accept my RHT 22 round reloadable STI magazines. Didn't like those magazines, and those are the only magazines I have. So I couldn't use the gun, but I can tell you that I'll be sending that back to Bruce, and if he gets that thing working, that gun is pretty amazing. It shoots so well. I was very, very disappointed I couldn't use it, but man, that thing is unbelievable.
Yeah, those guys over there at Gray Guns definitely know what they're doing.
Yes. So yeah, my limited gun, it's a prototype. It kind of let me down a little bit, but it is my fault, so I can't complain. Pretty sad. Oh Lord, what do we got here?
So this is just this is what I was talking about earlier when I was tracking the division popularity. I did it for last year and this year. Yeah, the spreadsheet. But you can see down here how much more popular this is just major matches. So this isn't locals or anything like that. But Cary Optics is well ahead of all the other ones. So it doesn't surprise me that the 320 Max did so well.
Right.
Not only, was one, it's very popular in USPSA. And two, like you said, I mean, there is a red dot revolution going on. And it just seems like in general, that's what people want, even on their everyday carry guns.
Right. Shooters always want more. They want more ammo. They want more capacity, and they want more ability. And
yeah,
red dot does give a shooter more ability to take those hard shots. And I mean, I can tell you that most people don't feel comfortable shooting a headshot at 15 yards, but with a red dot or swinger at 10, 15 yards, but a red dot shows you everything, and you can pick up your misses and pick up your hits a lot faster, or a lot more consistently. And some people think they can shoot faster with a red dot. I still am not convinced, unless you're max. But most of us shoot about the same speed as an iron sight gun, unless the shots are really far and really hard, and then it's a little bit faster.
Right. Well, and I even thought that it was case in point, stage 12 at Nationals, the only stage with the low port.
Ugh.
When you kneeled down, you had that steel that activated that swinger. I mean, that definitely made it easier when you're kneeling down, trying to look through that, look up and hit that swinger. I thought it was easier with the dot than iron sights. I'm not thinking you agree.
I'm sure it was fine for everyone else, except for the guy who finished 130th on it. Not a great stage for me. That was it. That's after that stage. That's when I said, okay, screw this. I'm going to full send on every stage after that.
Yeah, that was your.
I mean, in
that
fairness,
was your second day.
Dave is lower to the ground.
True.
A little bit. True. Yeah.
True.
I mean,
yeah.
Slightly.
True.
Slightly.
Barely. Yeah. Low ports are never a tall shooter's friend, but I don't want to use that as an excuse, but I will. But I don't want to.
Yeah, I remember when we interviewed the Williams sisters. They were like, "We wish there were more low ports and all these things because we would be doing so much better because we don't have to shoot so high anymore."
Exactly.
But they're also like 5'0". So
Right.
Yeah, I used to shoot a lot in Central America, and every match director there, or every stage designer there, I think was like 5'5".
yeah,
So
I feel like a giant when I go visit my family there. It's amazing.
So I shoot these matches, and they'll have, there's no walls extend to infinity. They just put stacks of tires and stuff around targets. And I'll never forget, I shot an entire stage from one spot because I could see over all these obstacles that they've shot. And I was the tallest person there, and I shot the stage. It was some ridiculous time where everyone was having to run down range, and I was just going ding, 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 ding. I was just hammering away. So sometimes it's good to be tall, but I will tell you from experience, it's only good to be tall about 30% of the time. The other 70% of the time, when there's Cooper tunnels and low ports and that kind of thing, tall, fat, and old, like Rob Latham and me, not fun for us, especially for that fat ass, because he can't even bend his knees all the way.
And he still won single stack.
I know, right?
Yeah.
Oh, screw that guy.
Whooping that young boy ass.
I know. Well, he won last year because I decided not to shoot single stack. I shot production.
At Virginia State, I was talking to Bill Duda, and he said, I have not reached my the height of my ability yet. And he goes, and how I know that is Phil Strader is still kicking my ass.
I have.
Listen, you're a benchmark for somebody. That's a big deal.
Yeah.
I always have been, and probably always will be, the one guy that no one wants to lose to. I mean, that's just a fact. And everyone will tell you that. As long as I don't lose to Phil. Even my friend Casey Reed, when my gun went down, he says, look, I really felt bad for you, but man, I'm glad it got me, because he beat me by 1 point. He was 8th, I was 9th. And he's like, I was really glad to see it because I couldn't deal with getting beat by you. So yeah, nobody wants to lose to the guy that doesn't shoot or doesn't practice and types for a living, So I get it, and I don't blame him. I wouldn't want to get beat by me either. I don't like me at all.
So SIG is sponsoring Cary Optics again next year.
Yes.
Nationals.
Yes.
Are they sponsoring any other national, or is it just that one?
Yes, we're sponsoring the Cary Optics Nationals, and pretty sure we're sponsoring the big one in Cameo as well.
Okay. So are you going to be at both of them then?
Oh yes, for sure.
You're going to shoot limited on the second one in October?
That's a good question. My heart is in limited. I think I've shot more limited nationals in any division.
Here's the spreadsheet.
Let him check.
Looking.
Got to check.
I see him looking.
Yeah, I've shot more limited nationals in any division. Even more than single stack, huh? Yeah. So I do love limited. Limited is where my heart is. The problem though is SIG still supports me. I wouldn't say they sponsor me, but they do support me. Technically they do sponsor me to a degree. Not on Team SIG, but they do help me. And I kind of have to keep in mind what's best for the company to a degree. I know production's not what it was. I think a lot of that, honestly, I think your chart, a lot of it has to do with the timing of the matches. I think having the production so early in the year didn't help it last year.
Okay.
But we make a production gun. We make the X5 Legion, right? We make most of the guns we make are production legal, and or one could argue production ideal. But we don't make really a limited gun. Make a gun that's perfect for limited. Now, with that said, if Bruce gets me a limited gun that runs with my magazines with a steel grip module, wow, that's going to be a hard one to not shoot. I don't know. I mean, shooting production means I get to shoot against mills, which I would love to do because he's the best right now, I think. And Jacob Hetherington would probably shoot production, which is also one of the best. So I typically will go where the competition is, and Mason, I'm sure, will shoot limited. If by some miracle I could get him maybe flying somehow the SIG banner, even if it's just not on Team SIG, but like as a one-off sponsorship, and he has a limited gun and I have a production gun, it kind of divides and conquers. So that's a good thing. I don't know. I just don't know. We'll see. I really want to shoot. I want to shoot limited, obviously. My heart's there, but I think it's more realistic that I shoot production. But, I'm not even thinking about that. I'm just thinking right now, I'm thinking I got to get my single stack out. I already got my single stack belt out, and I got to practice my stupid reloads because I'm going to be doing those a lot.
Yes.
And I'm going to have to find a major somewhere to shoot in April. That's not, something other than multi-gun, so I can get my one practice match in before nationals.
Gotta get that practice match in.
Gotta get that practice.
Well, there's always Area 2.
Right? Yeah.
Yeah. There's next month, Area 2.
I don't know. I think my shooting career is over this year. I'm going to shoot a club match next month. I think I probably should lay low for a while until my boss recovers from me being gone so much.
Or, again, just going to put this out there one more time. Just pitch the idea of me filling in.
Yeah. Can't forget that.
Listen, I'll do it for free.
And PHILLING.
I mean, like, you don't have to give me money. Just be like, oh, this gun fell off the production line. And, that's fine. I'm not going to complain.
Okay.
I can grow a couple inches,
All right. So here's what we'll do before I have to go.
So you have to sit there and say, it's got a blemish on it. And you'd be like, oh, yeah, there you go.
Yeah. I will say I do love that AXG, though. I love that steel grip module.
Oh, yeah. And I'll tell you that. Who came out with the people that came out with the light, the Loki, whatever the thing's called, the brass flashlight.
Yeah. Oh, I don't remember. Yeah, I know what you're talking about. Yeah,
I think it's LOK is the name of the company. They do brass grips for the AXG grip now. They do.
I'll tell you what, I love this thing. Yeah.
So apparently, according to one of the guys I work with, they took an AXG grip module, they put these grips on it, and it weighed almost the same as a TXG grip with the weight. So
wow,
that would be a tough gun to beat if you had it set up the right way, because that thing shoots really well.
Yeah, I love it, and I love my 320. I love my X5, but there's something about that gun with a steel frame that I just man.
It's like a 226 and a 320 had a baby.
That is actually probably the best analogy ever.
Yeah.
What
happened? That's what happened.
Oh,
all right. So I have a quiz. Whoever gets the question right, I'll send you some SIG swag.
I will murder either one of you. I'm not even kidding. You'll never see Huggy on the show ever again.
I'm sure you're going to get it before we will.
Okay. I'll give you all a chance to get it right. So I'll send everybody something. All right. I already gave one away. So what division?
Oh, crap.
What division do I have the best overall finish average in? For nationals.
Production.
Production limited. And
I was going to say single stack.
Wow. Well, none of
us was right, so we all win.
You're all wrong.
Wow.
You're all wrong. Single stack was close.
Single Bob stack, Barker rule, closest without going over.
Single stack is close.
If you say revolver, I quit.
I've never shot a revolver in action. But single stack, my overall finish is 5.07.
That's pretty good.
But it's not the highest.
Cary Optics then. Yeah, okay.
Oh.
Just because of the fewest number of times you've shot it.
Well, yeah. Fifth,
Yeah.
third, and seventh, which comes out to an average of 5. So it's just a tiny bit better than single.
5.00. Yep.
5.00. Okay. All right. Here we go. I'll give you one more chance. Closest without going over wins.
In the form of a question.
In the form of a question. Okay. Here we go. All right. I don't. This should be not. This is a tricky one because I don't shoot this. How many open nationals have I shot?
Oh.
Ah, crap.
What is 7, Bob?
I'm gonna go with 5.
I'm going to go with.
If you say 1,
You gotta say 1.
dude, if you
I am going with 1. 1.
What
1, Bob.
The correct answer is 5.
Oh, there you go.
There you go.
So I gotta
That's
get Leo's.
hysterical. Oh.
That just made my day a little bit. I got to be honest. When this is over, I'm probably gonna cry in a corner. Huggy, you should be really thankful because if one had won, man, we were gonna fight.
He'd have shot you back with a cool fire trainer.
Holy cow!
That's
Oh.
funny.
Oh my god.
All right,
That's good stuff.
I got to show you what we're talking about real quick, Phil, and I'll let you.
Oh my god. No.
Oh, when Huggy
All right,
shot me in the
where's-
face, I wore Blaze on our last thing because I wanted to make sure he didn't shoot me.
Phil,
Oh,
I'm telling
I
you.
see what he's saying now, and I'm like, oh, and I'm like going, okay, that wall. And then, Are you okay, Leo?
I know it's not loaded, and I know he's not going to shoot me, but he's literally pointing there at my image right now, and it's freaking me out, man.
I know it's you're like, well, for me, where are you at? You're
Yeah.
like,
Oh,
I'd also like to
no.
point out I was wearing a SIG hat on that interview.
Oh my god.
God, that's
That's
funny.
one of
Wearing
the
that hat today,
funniest
but-
moments ever.
Look at it,
Like it was a delayed reaction. He's like,
Slow roll.
"Did you just shoot at me?
like, man, serious?
I can't believe it. My closest friend just shot me in the face.
Oh
Didn't
man,
even care.
that's good stuff.
It's minority on minority crime. That's what
I
it
know.
was.
It's terrible.
I know.
Ridiculous.
Oh,
Oh,
See,
it's
you
funny.
see how you know how you like to rib with the other guys when you're with. This is how we are when we're together shooting.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
Right.
I've gotten to the point where me and Robbie's antics have gone. I have people call me, come up to matches, and ask me, "Do you really want Rob Latham to die?" And I say, well, they'll say, "Are you and Rob Latham? Do you guys really hate each other?" And I'll always ask the same. I say, "No, we're very close friends. We're very close. I mean, I want him to die today, but no, we love each other."
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was like the first time my wife ever heard me have a phone conversation with my older brother. And I called him an MFer when I answered the phone. I'm like, "What's up, MFer?" And she's like, "What?" I'm like, "Oh, it's just my brother." When I got
Mom
off the
says
phone-
hi.
Yeah, I was like, when I hung up, I'm like, "All right, I hate you." And I hung up, and she's like, "Who were you talking to?" I'm like, "Oh, my brother."
Yeah, my youngest. Whenever I talk to Rob on the phone, usually we're FaceTiming, is right before he hangs up, he goes, I say, "Case, you have anything you want to say to Rob?" And he flips him the bird, no matter where he is. And Robbie's like, "God, I love that little guy.
Yeah, coolest kid ever.
He is."
That's a winner.
hysterical.
Anyone that gives Rob the bird 100% of the time has got to be the coolest kid.
I mean, I'm just saying, put that out there.
If he wins single stack again next year, I may just quit. I may just quit at 69 and be done.
Listen, we know where to bury bodies. I'm just putting that out there.
Yeah.
I got a guy for that.
Well,
So
Phil,
I just
thanks for
have-
coming on.
I got
Oh,
one
go ahead.
question for you. I got one question.
Yes, sir.
for you because
Yeah.
actually-
I forgot. I didn't take any other questions, but go ahead.
That's okay.
Because it's actually kind of funny. I graduated from Old Dominion University, and my roommate there at Old Dominion was from Danville,
Uh-huh.
and his family owned the mortuary there.
Oh, really?
So, yeah. Yeah, so it was actually kind of funny. His name was Trey, and oh my god, we used to have a blast. When you said you were from Danville, I was like, oh my god, that'd be hilarious.
No way.
Yeah,
We sent that guy a lot of business.
what,
Yeah.
what was his last name?
oh, I knew you were going to ask that, and I can't remember. That was how
It
years
wasn't
ago.
Trey Barker, was it?
It might have been. It might have been a
Yeah.
short little guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I sent. I mean, I never sent anyone business there, but I was there a lot for work.
Like you didn't send him any business. Yeah.
As far as no one knows,
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So how is it to go from Danville, Virginia, to New Hampshire? Because I actually, before I transferred to Old Dominion University, I actually went to college up there in Vermont, so I kind of know how the weather is up there.
yes.
So
Well, honestly, look, I think had I made the transition from Danville to New Hampshire straight from one to the other, it would have been, I don't know if I could have handled it.
Right.
But honestly, I transferred from Danville to DC to
Right.
Oklahoma, back to Danville, New Hampshire. So I've never really, I mean, I'm Southern. I've got Southern blood, and I still have the accent, especially if I start drinking, then it kind of gets really bad. You know what I mean? Start getting my Todd Jarrett impersonation going. But when I left Danville and went up to Washington D.C. and started working there, obviously the accent was heavy, and it stood out in D.C. because everyone there, no one has an accent. So there, I was getting, you sound like a redneck, or you sound like a country bumpkin, and then I would go home and visit, and they were like, "You sound like a damn Yankee now," because I'm getting that whole being pulled in two directions thing.
yeah,
So yeah, by the time I left Washington, I had lost at least I could talk my way out of the Southern accent. I could speak a little bit more. I mean, let's face it, Southern accents, they just don't sound very smart. I mean, I don't want to say that it sounds horrible, but let's face it, if Albert Einstein had said like E equals MC squared, man, this stuff works. They would have taken them as seriously, right? So, but when I went to Oklahoma, there were no accents. I was expecting everyone to speak like really, really Western weird accents, and that was like out in Oklahoma City and Tulsa area. They all sounded normal. So, and by the time I got up to New Hampshire, here it's just it's a lot different. The weather is the big thing, like you said. The weather. It just sucks, man. I mean, it's just horrible. I mean, the cold's now coming back. And the problem is if you don't, my wife and I, we just sit in the house, eat crackers all day, and talk about how shitty the weather is. We don't go skiing or sledding or anything. That's what you're supposed to do up here. You're supposed to have a hobby to do in the snow so you're not freaking miserable all the time. And we've been here 6 years and we haven't found a hobby yet. So
yeah, you're supposed to get some snowshoes and get some cross country skis.
Put some tennis rackets on your feet and start going crazy cross country skiing. It's like skiing uphill for fun. I'm not doing that. My idea of fun is like sitting on a car or sled or something that goes for me where I can like push the gas and go. That's more my speed. But then it's going to be cold, so it's going to have to be a completely enclosed UTV. And then, at that point, I can just take a drive in the car at that point. So. And then I'm wasting time. I should stay at home. You sit here and stay at home.
Yeah. Well, see, you get yourself an Arctic-Cat,
Yes.
See?
Sounds fun until the cold comes. And then people have invited me out to go ice fishing.
Right.
Really? What's that about? No. Not doing ice fishing.
Exactly. But I will have to say, you go across the state line there to Vermont and get yourself some good maple syrup.
Maple syrup. Daggone right. Oh, man.
See, you heard my accent.
Well, I don't have any other questions. I'm just happy I won.
Leo, I'll have to get you some swag, buddy.
Yeah, believe me, I will wear it with pride. I mean, if you sign it, that'd be even better. I was
going to say, just take a selfie of yourself, print it out.
Don't make it weird, Huggy. Come on, man.
Well, see, now I'm going to make it really weird. Like I'm going to
see exactly.
I'm going to put something on.
He's going to send me a shirt, and he's like, "This is a picture of me wearing the shirt." Yeah.
XOXO.
Here's the thing.
Yes.
That I would wear.
Yes.
Like this.
Yep.
Yes.
See, that's not weird. That's just That's just happy.
I'm going to call Joe Procopio right now, and we're going to get a TechWear shirt made.
I'm
We'll
so
figure
happy.
something out.
This just made my year.
It's going to be amazing.
Yeah, you wanna
Man,
sit there and
this
have,
is the best
"I love
victory I've
this
ever
guy,"
had.
put on there.
Biggest
Might
win
be your
for me
only
ever.
victory ever.
Yeah.
Ugh.
And I don't have to
All right,
buy
well-
anybody any appetizers or anything. So this is, whew,
No.
I'm
Oh yeah,
cloud
that's
nine
another
right
story.
I got Joe on speed dial. I'm going to call him right now.
There you
Just got to
go.
figure out what picture I want to put on it.
Well, Phil, we appreciate you coming on. It was a great conversation. So
It was my
Yeah.
pleasure. I enjoyed it. I don't do this very often, but when I do, I try to have as much fun as I can.
Oh,
Well,
it was a
thank you.
blast.
yes,
That was a win.
Outstanding.
all right. Well, you have a great weekend,
All right.
and we'll
Take
chat
it
at
easy,
you
sir.
later.
Bye, Lee.
Bye.
Until next time.
Don't be a little bitch.
Yeah.